All right, guys, so we are joining right back for our election coverage that we're going to be doing for June 2nd, the primaries. We have Elizabeth Wong Ahlers here today. She is running for our
Yes.
40th congressional district.
Thank
So,
you.
congratulations. Thank you
Yeah.
so much.
Thank you, Sophia.
So, I had a couple of questions that I wanted to ask you,
hmm
and we're just going to jump right into it. So, why did you decide to run for the 40th Assembly District?
Well, I ran for town council in 2021
Mm-hmm.
in the La Crescenta, Montrose area. And I felt, well, at that time I had raised 6 kids. I still had one going through high school, but it was time for me to serve the greater community. So I won that election and served for 3 years. I realized that a lot of the issues that we encounter at the local level um, are really mandates from the state level. And so when the residents were coming in and complaining about things like congestion and high density housing, there was really nothing at the local level. We just have to try to manage and do the best we can with keeping the residents happy. But I thought, okay, we really need to have a voice up in Sacramento. So I ran for state senate in 2024,
Mm-hmm.
and we were really successful, outperformed registration by 20%. And so I'm running for state assembly here for the same reason, because in areas like Santa Clarita, we need a representative voice in Sacramento that represents people that just want to raise their families, live in peace, have some um, cost of living relief, some tax relief, confidence in our school system that we're going to teach one, two, threes and ABCs and not be distracted by other issues. Use our wise use of our taxpayer money. 40% of our budget in the state goes towards education, but our educational system is down at the bottom. But
Right.
thankfully, here in Santa Clarita, we've been working really hard to keep the schools in really, really good opening conditions for education of our children. Lots of opportunities. School boards are doing well here, but we need more support from the state level. So those are the reasons why I'm running. I've got 6 kids myself, 4 girls and
Wow,
two
that's a
boys.
big family.
Yeah, so the youngest one's 19, and education's really important to me. My husband and I met at UCLA. I was a linguistics major; he was a math major. So our kids have gone through college,
Yeah.
um, but it's the future for the next generation. And Sophia, we love California, but so many people have had to leave California because of
Mm-hmm.
cost of living and other issues.
That actually transitions into my next question. So, residents across the district continue to struggle with affordability, including
Right.
housing, groceries, and gas. What would you do at state level to help increase and less ease that burden?
Right. Well, I think the gas tax is like the biggest issue these days because, especially here in Santa Clarita, we all need to commute. We're driving everywhere in our cars, and so
Mm-hmm.
we feel that extra burden of gas prices. If we just suspend the gas tax, and it would be great if we could suspend it permanently, that would be a great relief. We have the highest gas prices in the country. Even Hawaii, they're 6 hours away from their nearest oil rig, but their gas prices are lower than California. Housing cost, it goes with regulations and cost of building, as well as insurance, and so it's so many overlapping layers because the fires, like we've got a fire going in Simi Valley today,
Mm-hmm.
right? But fire insurance for homes and housing, so that raises the cost of living too, and that's related to insurance is related to crime rates, and forest management, water management. These are all state issues.
Yeah. So, talking about California continuing to debate housing development and local control, how do you balance the need for more housing with concerns about traffic and fire safety, like you just talked about, and community impact?
hmm Well, I always support local control because we, as the residents, we know what we're living through, and we need to have a voice and some response. So the more control that's given to the local level, as it traditionally has been, the more better results we get. As the state of California and the current supermajority of the legislature continues to take more control away from local governments and decision making at the state level instead of the local level, we as the residents get shortchanged, and we get forced into things that we don't want. So as far as like housing developments, we do need choice in housing. We need affordability in housing. The cost, but it shouldn't be mandated. So I know here in Santa Clarita, there's certain developments or building projects that we are in areas where it's not ideal.
Yeah, there should be some sort of low income that I know the state requires, like a certain percentage and different things like that.
And a lot of times, these developments are not even what families can use. Like there was a development that in La Crescenta of like 81 units on 2 lots, and most of those units were single like studios, and some low income, but families can't live there, and so it's actually we need more family level housing that's affordable in a lot of these suburban kind of areas.
Yeah.
And
Awesome.
it should, but mainly it's the local level that should be able to make those decisions.
So, if you did get elected, what would be the first thing that you would do for the assembly district?
The first thing that I would do is look at how we can give tax relief to our state, because we do have the highest income taxes, the highest gas prices, the highest taxes on businesses. So businesses really need relief. Property owners, we want to give relief so that we can stay in our homes. So Proposition 13 is really important to defend. Our property taxes are getting so high that, and because our home prices are high, it can raise the property taxes without the protection of Proposition 13 to a point where people have to sell their homes in order to pay the taxes. So seniors on a fixed income, they need to be able to stay in their homes. And then families that work so hard to buy their first home, they need to be able to have like like 2 years of tax relief as they get established before the houses, before they have to pay these property taxes, which are so outrageous. So tax relief would be top priority, and it can be done. We've got revenue in California, but the spending's out of control. $100 billion of deficit, fraud, and then up to it's over the last few years it could be $60 billion in deficit. So there's spending priorities that need to be changed.
Awesome. And the district includes a wide range of viewpoints and communities. So, how would you represent constituents who maybe don't necessarily agree with you politically?
Well, I think everybody agrees that we need public safety. That's always number one. If we don't feel safe, we can't thrive in our businesses. Our kids they can't learn in their environments if they don't feel safe. And so things like funding Proposition 36 are really a top priority. The residents all over California, even in the most liberal counties of San Francisco and Marin County, voted 70% to pass Proposition 36 on the last election. And the current legislature.
For those that don't remember, do you mind explaining Proposition 36?
So there was a Proposition 47, which affected our crime a lot, where it was like you can it's called smash and grab. They can go into a Walmart, go into a Nordstrom's, grab up to $950 worth of merchandise and not be prosecuted effectively. It was like a misdemeanor, and they get off so easily, so they can go back and do it again. So Proposition 36 changed that so that there would be more proportional felony prosecution consequences. Um, and but our supermajority legislature currently in Sacramento did not fund Proposition 36 in the budget so that this enforcement and provision for these tools that the law enforcement needs was not funded. So it can't be implemented, even though 70% of our voters voted for it. So public safety is the number one priority and responsibility of government.
So winning over both parties, you would say public safety is probably the most number one thing that you would be pushing for?
Right. And Proposition 36 also provided for the homeless problem of needing mental treatments, drug treatments. So those things were supposed to be funded in Proposition 36. And the homeless issue is also related to public safety, right? When we walk through homeless encampments and we don't feel safe, and those people themselves are not safe out there on the streets.
Mm-hmm. Last question for me. So, why should undeciders vote for you over the other opponents on June 2nd?
All right. Well, I've got the most experience. So I have run for office before. I have won over, I was a top vote getter in the first election. I ran for state senate, which is even a bigger election area than assembly district. And then I've got family. I'm finished raising my family, 6 children successfully. My husband and I have our own business with property and housing provision that we've had for family generations. I am 5 generations California born, and so I am deeply vested in Southern California and in the statewide structure. My grandfather worked on the Los Angeles flood control basin, flood control system for LA Basin. And my father worked on the California Aqueduct, the California State Water Project that brings water into the Los Angeles County. And so issues that are like water are really important to me. And my commitment to stay in California and fight. So I have the greatest track record for personal experience and political experience and commitment to fight for California for the next generation.
Awesome. Well, Elizabeth, thank you so much for joining us today. We really appreciate it, and you coming back again after coming back on this morning.
Yes, thanks. It's been great having interviews all day. Thank you for the opportunity, Sophia.
Awesome.
And the website is elizabethforassembly.com.
Perfect. Thank you guys,
Thank
and we
you.
will be right back.